So I'm holding off talking about I can't breathe. They're very important to people to understand. I've seen this on cop videos that make it on television. They'll tell somebody who's saying they can't breathe that, well, it sounds like you can breathe to me, because you're saying I can't breathe. But there's laws of how things move around, physics of how things move around, and one of those things is air pressure moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. Now the air out here in the atmosphere, that's one atmosphere, let's call it that. That is exerting pressure all around my hand and keeping my hand from exploding like in a vacuum. If I put my hand in a vacuum, all the blood will try to boil, and all the gas that's dissolved in the flesh will try to eke its way out and make its way to the vacuum. Well, the atmosphere prevents that from happening by exerting pressure on my hand. Now, the same thing happens here when I breathe. When I breathe in, I expand my big tummy and let my diaphragm move down, and my lungs become larger. And the only way to equalize the pressure, that's what air wants to do. It wants to equalize the pressure. Is for air to flow in my nose or mouth and down my windpipe into my lungs. Okay. It does that at one atmosphere. Okay, because when I inhale and I expand my chest, the air on the outside is exerting one atmosphere of pressure, and it's greater pressure than is in my lungs, and it pulls the air down into my lungs. That's how you inhale. How do you exhale? Well, it's the other way around. You'll blow really hard, and what happens is the air pressure inside my lungs is greater than the pressure outside in the one atmosphere. Now, the atmosphere can only exert one atmosphere of pressure. Okay, it's not going to exert any more pressure. Now, I know because I've looked into snoring. I snore at night really bad, so I've looked into getting one of these positive pressure masks for my face that actually causes it to exert more than one atmosphere of pressure, so that it makes it easier for my body to inhale at night to keep me from snoring quite so bad. I haven't purchased one yet. I've been looking. Now, what happens when you're choking somebody, or when somebody's on the ground and they've been hit in the throat and it's swelling up, and they're saying I can't breathe. And what is happening is they're exerting 3 or 4 atmospheres of pressure, maybe more than one atmosphere of pressure, well more than one atmosphere of pressure from their diaphragm, from their chest squeezing onto their throat and forcing the air out. But when it tries to go the other way, there's only one atmosphere of pressure to be had. So let's say you've got a blockage that requires 3 atmospheres of pressure to get past. Well, you might be able to produce that pressure. I'm not sure what the numbers are because I don't know anything about how much pressure you can do. But you can produce a lot more pressure going out than going in. So all the cops in the world and all the people in the world who might be around someone who's choking needs to understand that just because you say, I can't breathe, doesn't mean you can inhale. What they're actually saying is, I can only exhale, I can't inhale. So, the next time you hear someone, well, they told me they couldn't breathe, they were breathing just fine. No, that's not how it works. Okay? The same thing can happen, just any sort of pressure on your stomach, any sort of pressure on your chest, and the mechanisms won't work right to be able to push air in. But if you already have pressure on your chest or on your stomach, you may not be able to inhale. You may not be able to push that pressure back far enough to take in a breath, because all those bits have to move. So just having a pressure on your stomach or your chest, or God forbid your throat, any of those sorts of things can stop you from being able to inhale properly.